Alright guys, we're still back in the shed. Hopefully you can hear me okay. You might hear a bit of rain outside. Obviously we can't be out in the bush unfortunately today, seeing that it is wet and cold outside. So we're still back in the shed. Today we're going to be having a bit of a look at the power tools or battery powered tools that I take with me. Now of course you can take a wide variety, and we could go into things like chainsaws and stuff like that. I don't have a battery powered chainsaw, but you might go down that path if that's what you want to do. But I'm here to talk about what tools I take with me. So I have a petrol chainsaw, but yeah, again, if you had a battery powered chainsaw, then you'd probably add it to this list. I also haven't got a light of some sort here because I take a LED Lensa LED head torch, which is rechargeable. So I have that instead, but I'm actually thinking I might at some point add a Milwaukee light in here. I have got it here, but I don't take it with me. So we're just going to talk about things that I take in my four-wheel drive with me pretty much everywhere. We'll start down this end. Milwaukee make a soldering iron, which is pretty cool, and it's adjustable and it works really well. So this is on their 12 volt. So I've got a mixture of 12 volt and 18 volt stuff here. I haven't got the 12 volt battery here at the moment. In actual fact, I've just realised I've missed something. Give me 2 seconds, I'm going to grab something else. I'm going to keep you alive because I just thought about it just then. One of the other things I take with me is this here, so we'll talk about that at the end, I guess. So yeah, back to 12 volt soldering iron. Awesome. I think it's awesome, and it's one of those super important things that I think you should have with you, and I take it with me. Again, it fits a little smaller battery from Milwaukee, the 12 volt ones, which I do have now, and I do carry one with me, and I'll talk about that in a second. So that's awesome. So 12 volt soldering iron. The Milwaukee battery powered 12 volt soldering iron, I should say, not a plug-in one. So it's a complete, battery powered version. Next, grinder, angle grinder. Highly recommend taking one of them. You never know when you might just have to make something work or cut something. Grinder, super important, I think, to have in your list. You might need to cut something, make something fit, make something work. If you haven't got a grinder, okay, you could use a hacksaw or something like that. But for a bush repair, sometimes you just want to cut something out, make it work. Maybe it's a CV, get it out in a hurry. You can use a grinder for that. Next thing, just a normal drill, okay, or this is a hammer drill, but it doesn't have to be a hammer drill. But because it's a hammer drill, why not? So this, obviously none of these have got batteries in there, but it's just a drill. With this, of course, and with the grinder, you'll probably want to have cutting discs, grinding discs. I've got a couple of flap discs as well, just in case. But yeah, of course, the accessories. And probably also, I'll just go back, probably with any of these tools, the most important thing is eye protection. If you're getting under your car, especially with grinder, you've got sparks and stuff going everywhere, eye protection, some ear protection. And just make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing for doing the job. And especially when you're out in the bush. I do understand a lot of people grab a grinder and just go for it, but if you're out in the bush and you're in a remote spot, maybe you need to think a little bit more about your own safety, because it matters a lot more out in the bush if you're in a remote area and maybe you're on your own. Maybe you need to start thinking about that safety stuff. So if you're using a grinder out in the bush and you're on your own, maybe you need to take those couple of extra steps to maybe wear appropriate clothing if you to protect yourself if something was to happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but if a disc or whatever was to break, then you want to make sure you got the appropriate clothing to try and protect yourself, because you don't want a grinder to the face. Same with this, the drill, as I just said before. Make sure you've got drill bits for it. I'll bring this with me in case you've got to drill a hole. I don't bring tap and dies with me, but maybe I could. But again, this is just if I need to drill a hole in something, I can. yeah, just a handy thing to have a drill if you need to drill something out, or drill a bolt out or something that's stuck. You can do it with that. A Milwaukee 1/2 inch impact. This is the 1/2 inch version. It's the mid torque one if you're looking at that. Mid torque, I think it's fine. I use this mainly for getting wheel nuts off in a hurry. Got a flat tyre on the side of the road somewhere, fire this up. I carry with this the correct socket for my wheel nuts. So it's always there. I can just grab this, put the socket on for the wheel nuts, and off I go. But I also carry impact sockets for this as well. So a whole kit of impact sockets. Probably don't need them all, but you just never know. So that's the other thing is the Milwaukee 1/2 inch impact I take with me all the time as well. Battery wise, I always make sure they're fully charged. I do keep a charger with my inverter in my car, so I can always charge them as I use them. I take a large one and a small one, so a larger size battery and a small one, just because I might be able to get in somewhere with this one that this one can't. So it just depends on what you're looking at. But again, I try and take two with me, a smaller one and a larger one. Might want to take two larger ones, but again, that's why I bring the smaller ones as well. And again, I've got a mixture of, as I said at the start, a mixture of 18 and 12 volt stuff. And the next thing is, this is a Milwaukee, their 12 volt radio as well as Bluetooth. It's pretty new on the market, but it's actually awesome. Doesn't have the bottom end response, if I get into that I would expect. I think JBL have got theirs a little bit over Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee need to talk to JBL about their bottom end stuff, but in saying that, this carries a long way. So in the top end, the mid-range does carry quite a fair way. So again, I love it. I think it's awesome. It's also got in the back, a USB, you can charge it up. This isn't a review for these items, so maybe I could do a review for these items, but again, I take a radio, Bluetooth with me as well, but which I think add to this range of stuff. So the two 12 volt items are these two, the soldering iron, the radio, and the rest are all the 18 volt stuff. And the battery's in the back for this. So I'll just show you. That's the size of the battery for the 12 volt. And of course that fits into the soldering iron. So yeah, so I've sort of carry one of those with me. I might end up carrying two of the 12 volt, mainly for the radio, but the 12 volt, the soldering iron will go through it pretty quick as well, but again, it is what it is. So again, this is the stuff I carry with me. You could bring sawzalls and stuff, hacksaws with you. I don't at this stage. Maybe I could, but this is the main stuff. I mean, where do you stop is the other thing. Where do you stop with power tools? Where do you stop with power equipment? Yeah, I mean, again, this wasn't an accessory thing, video. We're just talking about what I take with me, and I carry it all in a bag, and I know what I've got to be able to do things that I need to do. But yeah, I highly recommend taking some form of battery. Look, at the very least, a drill. The very least, a drill. Lug nuts you can get off, or wheel nuts you can get off without a 1/2 inch. Makes it easier, I think. In worst case, you get a stuck bolt, you get that off. But again, you could use a wheel brace or something to get your wheel nuts off, which I do carry with me as well, of course. And never ever tighten your wheel nuts with one of those. Yeah, goes without saying. But yeah, if I was to take one with me, it would be that. But yeah, I think soldering iron comes in super handy, and grinder and all that. So that's why I've put these things together. And radio, I take it because it's important to me. I enjoy listening to the radio. Bluetooth my phone up to it or whatever. So this is the range that I take with me. Doesn't have to be Milwaukee. Choose whatever brand you want. I've just stuck with Milwaukee because they're the tools that I have with me. But yeah, again, you just never know what you might need to do out in the bush. Nearly all of these tools have been used out in the bush at some point, because whether it be wiring something up that's come loose, soldering iron. A lot of stuff now there's a lot of 12 volt stuff in cars. A lot of, especially for me, it's the inverter, dual batteries, system, fridge stuff, so you just never know. A soldering iron is super handy. Again, you'd want solder with the soldering iron, which I didn't bring accessories to tell you, but again, buy the tool, make sure you got the accessories you need to go with it. So that's just a bit of an overview on the battery tools that I take. If you got something else cool that you take with you that you think would be awesome, put it in there below. I know Makita have got a coffee machine, which I think's awesome. I think Milwaukee need to hurry up and get one too, because they're out in the bush, coffee like that'd be great. But again, how much weight do you take? How much stuff do you take? I think this is a pretty good selection for me, and just to keep the weight down. But again, hopefully it helped. Let me know below in the comments if you got any questions or cool stuff that you guys had. I might need to add it myself. So, all right, guys, thanks very much, and hopefully it helps.